Welcome to my branded Gaia deck profile. First, the branded half of the deck. I'm playing 3 Fallen of Albaz. You could play this at 2, but it's a decent normal summon if you go second. Then I'm playing 3 Kit. This is a free extender if we control a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz, and on normal or special summon this can add us any branded spell or trap from the deck to the hand. Talking about branded spells and traps, I'm playing 3 Lost. This makes our opponent unable to respond to any effects that would fusion summon, and they cannot negate effects that would fusion summon a monster. Also, if we fusion summon, we can add either Fallen of Albaz or Kit from our deck to the hand. It's just a really great card. Then I'm playing 3 Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion is really insane, as always. This can just get Albion, Lobelion, and then they can fusion summon from the banished pile, from the graveyard. It makes pretty much any fusion one-card fusion. Then I'm playing 2 Branded in white. This one can fusion summon any fusion monster that needs a dragon monster as material. This is pretty much all of our extra deck. And if we use Albaz as material, we can banish him from the graveyard as well. So this is something nice to search, or if you opened Branded in white plus Branded Fusion, you can use both because they are both hard ones per turn. And then I'm playing 1 Branded Banishment. Banishment can special summon a level 8 fusion monster from our graveyard to our field, and then we can fusion summon a fusion monster by using materials from either side of the field. You don't have to use the monster you summoned with this as well. There's some really cool cards you can summon with this. Most of the time you're gonna summon a Predator Plant monster. This just needs 1 fusion monster and 1 dark monster. And because you summon a fusion monster back, you already have the fusion monster as material and you just need a dark monster from somewhere on the field. Yep, now on to the Gaia half of the deck. Now for the Gaia half of the deck, I'm playing 1 Terraforming. This can get us both of our field spells. Portal to Chaos. Portal to Chaos can add any Gaia monster from our deck to the hand. We are only playing 1 target, but we really want to see it. And Terraforming can get us Portal to Chaos, for example, if we already opened a Galloping Gaia, because this search effect is once per turn of Galloping Gaia. Galloping Gaia can reveal a Gaia monster to add a level 5 dragon monster, or reveal a level 5 dragon monster to add a Gaia monster. Also, this says that while we controlled Gaia the Dragon Champion, our opponent cannot activate any cards or effects during the battle phase. This helps if you want to OTK. This isn't just a search on activation, it's a search every turn, which is really nice as well. And we're playing 3 Magical Knight Gaia. We can normal summon this level 7 monster without tributing if either our opponent controls a monster with 2300 attack or more, or if we don't control any monsters. If this is normal or special summoned, we can special summon a level 5 dragon monster from our hand or graveyard into defense position. The monster we want to summon with this most of the time is Dragon Curse, the Cursed Dragon. You can either summon this from the hand, or you can, for example, Foolish this with Branded Fusion. If this is normal or special summoned, you can add any spell or trap that lists Gaia the Dragon Champion in its text from your deck to the hand. Also, if this is sent to the graveyard for a fusion summon of your monsters, you can target 1 Gaia the Dragon Champion you control, and then all your opponent's monsters with attack equal or lower to your monster's attack are negated. So most of the time you summon a monster with 5200 attack. This way you can send him to the graveyard for the fusion summon, activate the effect, and all of your opponent's monsters that have less than 5200 attack are negated. And this is going to be most of their monsters. And I'm playing 1 Dragon Fire Curse. This is just another level 5 dragon monster that I'm running. It can technically fusion summon, but it can only fusion summon by using materials from the field. But it can fusion summon without using a fusion spell, which is kind of nice in some situations, but you rarely ever need it. And I'm playing 3 Armored Catapult Turtle. This can tribute 1 monster. It doesn't have to be itself, and then you can special summon a level 5 dragon monster from your deck, or you special summon a Gaia monster from your deck. This is just another way where you how you can find your Gaias. And I'm playing 3 Spiral Fusion. Spiral Fusion is a really cool card. This just says you can use this to summon any dragon fusion monster. This means you can go into the Albaz stuff with this. Also, this isn't a hard once per turn. It's just no once per turn at all. You can add this back from the graveyard with some cards and then just use it again. And if you summon a Gaia, the Dragon Champion, with this, it gains 2600 attack and it can attack 2 monsters each battle phase, which is really cool because then you have a 5200 attack monster that can attack twice. And after the first attack, it gains attack itself. So then you have a really, really big Bungus that can attack twice. This is the main way you can OTK, and it's a really fun card and has some great use even with the branded cards. Then I'm playing 1 Spiral Reborn. This can special summon a level 7 or lower dragon monster in our graveyard. And if we special summon Gaia, the Dragon Champion, it can neither be targeted nor be destroyed by card effects. The level 7 restriction is kinda wacky because all of our branded fusions are level 8, but we take what we get. It's still a really great card, and it's another name we could search with Dragon Curse, the Cursed Dragon. Then the last 6 cards in the deck are 3 Infinite Impermanence. This is good because we can either draw this for turn and then break a board with this, or it's just a great hand trap. Not once per turn hand trap that can negate a monster, and that's a trap, so it's harder to play around if you, for example, have a monster negate on board, and you can still get impermed. Then I'm playing 3 Book of Moon. Book of Moon is fun because this can flip our fusion monster face down after it has lost attack, and then we can flip it ourselves face up, and then it has its original attack again. Also, this is kind of nice because you can play around Tikaboo with this. The deck kind of struggles against Tikaboo, and this way you can flip down your dragon monster and then still fusion summon with a dragon monster on field. Otherwise, you would be locked out of using dragons. This is good for breaking boards as well. You can just flip down a card that your opponent has and they can't really use the effect, or it baits the negate. And going first, I kind of like this more than Chalice, I have to say. Because sometimes if you use Forbidden Chalice, you can negate something, but they can still link it off. But if you flip it down with Book of Moon, it can't be used as link material or Xyz material. So that's always really nice. Now the extra deck. I'm playing 3 Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons. This has a base attack of 2600, but if we summon it with Spiral Fusion, it's on 5200 and can attack twice. If this destroys a monster by battle, it gains 2600 attack. So this would be on 7800 if it's summoned with Spiral Fusion and destroys a monster by battle. This can only during the main phase and a hard once per turn target 1 card on the field, destroy the targeted card, and then this loses 2600 attack. It's kind of like a really bad Appaloosa with the attack losing effect. You don't want to use the effect unless you are forced to go first. Then I'm playing 1 Curse of Dragon, the Magical Knight Dragon. This is really fun and has some synergy with the branded cards, because this says that for a fusion summon of your other fusion, you can banish materials from your graveyard instead. And if this is summoned, you can add back a spell or trap that lists Gaia the Dragon Champion, which means you summon this with Spiral Fusion, add back Spiral Fusion, summon Gaia the Knight of Dragons with Spiral Fusion by banishing materials from the graveyard, and then you can use Branded Fusion and summon Lobellion, for example, and then Lobellion can shuffle back the banished materials to summon another one. So then you have Lobellion on board, this one on board, which would be boosted with Spiral Fusion, and another one on board that wouldn't be boosted with Spiral Fusion, which is game most of the time if you can pull this off and OTK. Then for the branded fusion stuff, I'm playing 2 Albions. Albion is fun. This is the stuff we want to send with Mirror Jade most of the time, and it's just a great monster to fusion summon. I'm only playing 2 because I can shuffle this back with Lobellion. Yeah, I don't really need a third one, but you can play a third one if you want. I'm playing 2 Lobellion. Lobellion is really cool as well. As I said earlier, this has some synergy with Curse of Dragon, the Magical Knight Dragon, by shuffling back banished fusion materials. This sadly has to discard, but that's fine. We don't really need that many cards in our hand, I have to be honest. Playing 2 Mirror Jade. Again, you could play 3 of this, but you can technically shuffle back a Mirror Jade for the summon of another Mirror Jade. So you don't really need the third copy. I'm playing 2 Titanic Lad. Titaniclad is another thing you could send off Mirror Jade, and it's a really versatile monster that you could summon with Albaz. Sometimes your opponent has something that isn't an extra deck monster, that's still their boss monster, and then this just needs one monster with 2500 or more attack as a material plus Albaz, so you can pretty much summon this with everything. I'm playing one Predator Plant Dracostalpelia. I probably butchered that name. This you can summon with Branded Banishment, or you can just summon this with most of your other cards. It needs one fusion monster and one dark monster, and this is one monster negate per turn. It's a really cool card, I have to be honest. And I'm playing one Iron Spurred Dragon. This you can technically summon if you send a Titaniclad with a Mirror Jade, and then Titaniclad in the end phase summons an Albaz. Albaz's effect triggers, and you summon with a monster that has been special summoned this turn, because this needs a monster that has been special summoned this turn as a material. I chose to play one of this because then you can technically use the removal effect of this. During your main phase, you can move this to an adjacent column and then destroy all other face-up cards in that column. It's non-targeting removal, but you already have Mirror Jade, so you really don't need to go into this. And finally, I'm playing one Nightmare Phoenix. Sometimes you need to link stuff off. If you are playing, for example, under, there can be only one, or you just want to use Phoenix's effect to pop a face-up spell or trap, or face-down spell or trap. Phoenix is just probably the best link 2 monster in the current format, and I chose to play one. Most of the time you are locked out of anything except fusions, but for the times you aren't, Nightmare Phoenix can be just a grace. Now up to the side deck. In this side deck, I'm playing the Albaz structure deck staple, Dark Ruler no more. Then I'm playing one Change of Heart because we are kind of a going second deck, and this really helps with going second. I'm playing one Mystic Mine. This deck plays terraforming, so I thought, why not? You essentially play 2 copies of Mystic Mine if you run terraforming, and you can just set your own field spell or kind of play under it. Mystic Mine is definitely usable in this deck. Then I'm playing 3 Cosmic Cyclone because, to be honest, we kind of die to Mystic Mine as well. I once said that Branded always loses to Mystic Mine, and half of our deck is Branded. So Cosmic Cyclone is really good. It's good in the Eldritch matchup as well. Then I'm playing 3 Titanocider. This one is a card that some people would call the worst Lost Wind, or the worst Lost Wind. It can target one monster, special summon from the extra deck, change its attack to 0, and then its effects are negated. You can set this card from the graveyard when your opponent special summons something from the extra deck. Unlike Lost Wind, this doesn't have to banish itself when you set it and then activated it again. You can just use the same copy infinite times in theory, and this is really cool because this guarantees that our Gaia can hit over stuff because it changes the attack to 0, and it's just nice in the grind game if we can set this every time our opponent summons something from the ED. Then I'm playing one Duster because I don't like back row. I'm playing one Pank just because this is a really great going second card, and this outs stuff like Anti-Spell Fragrance, for example. Cosmic Cyclone outs Anti-Spell Fragrance as well. We don't 100% die to Anti-Spell, but we kind of do, I have to be honest. Then I'm playing one Red Reboot. Again, outs Anti-Spell, outs D-Barrier. And I'm playing one Lost Wind, the OG Titanocider. I chose to not play any more Lost Winds because this banishes itself after you recycled it the first time. But it's still a really cool card if you want to go first, or if you are forced to go first. Now some kind of suggestions, or rather cards that I thought I could play in the side deck, but then chose to not play them. Eradicator Epidemic Virus is a card that I see run in many branded decks because you could tribute your fusions for this, like the Titanic Lad or the Albion, and then declare spell, and all of your opponent's spells just cannot be used because they must discard them. You could declare traps with this as well, so it's kind of more versatile than something like an anti-spell fragrance, and you cannot run anti-spell fragrance because you need to use that many spells yourself. I don't like this though, because I could either summon one of the branded fusions, or I drew this, and I even ran 3 Trapchick in this deck to find this easier, but I never would open branded fusion plus this. It just never worked out. So you can run this. I've seen some people run this, but you really don't have to, and it's kind of inconsistent. Then I'm playing, or I'm rather not playing, D-Barrier. D-Barrier is mostly used this format to declare fusion, and this stops your opponent from summoning any fusion monsters. Great against branded, but it also negates all fusion monsters on the field if you declare fusion with this. That's why I kind of can't run this in a fusion deck. So yeah, I could technically play this against like Sword Soul and similar stuff, but I chose not to because I just didn't like it. Like Sword Soul has better counters than this, and yeah, I don't like D-Barrier, but if you want to play it, play it. Then I got one Soldier Gaia the Fear Knight. This can technically help OTK because this, as a quick effect, can tribute 1 Dragon Fusion monster and special summon this from our hand. Then we could even change the battle position of a monster if our opponent has something in death or something. You could summon him during the battle phase, and he's on 2/6. Then you could swing with him to just deal more damage. It's technically another Gaia name that you could run for the field spell to reveal a Gaia and then add a level 5, but you don't want to be in this situation anyway, and if you reveal him and add a level 5, it doesn't unbrick your hand because you're still left with something that needs a Dragon Fusion monster, and it's just a win more card. But if you want to run it again, you could play this. Okay, I'm gonna give this one shuffle, cut in half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let's check how good our hand is. This is decent. I'm gonna activate Galloping Gaia, then Galloping Gaia F. I'm gonna reveal the Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, and I'm gonna add myself a Magical Knight Gaia. Maybe our opponent ashes this, but then he has wasted his ash and cannot ash the branded fusion, so kind of wouldn't mind to get ashed here. Then I can normal summon the Magical Knight Gaia. I really wouldn't mind as well, because I could just normal summon the Catapult Turtle and then tribute this to get the Magical Knight Gaia from the deck. So if he ashes the Galloping Gaia, would just be really nice for me. I will normal summon Magical Knight Gaia, Gaia F, special Dragon Curse the Cursed Dragon, Dragon Curse the Cursed Dragon F, get myself a Spiral Fusion. Then I'll check my hand. I'll activate Spiral Fusion, summon myself a copy of Curse of Dragon, the Magical Knight Dragon, with those 2. F Curse of Dragon, add this back. Then I can Spiral Fusion, use those materials, banish them, and get myself a Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons. This is now boosted by 2600, so this is on 5/2 and can attack twice. Then I will use Branded Fusion. I'll send myself a Fallen of Albaz and a and a dark and a probably the better choice would be Dragon Fire Curse, because then we get a dragon in the graveyard to just revive with a Magical Knight Gaia if we can normal summon one next turn. Or we could special summon one next turn with the Armored Catapult Turtle, so send both of these. Get myself a Lubellion, then Lubellion F, I will discard Armored Catapult Turtle, and then I could shuffle those back and get myself a Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons. Or instead of making Lubellion, I could keep this card in my hand, don't send him, and send a Gaia instead. Then I don't make Lubellion, instead I make an Albion, and Albion could banish myself the Fallen of Albaz plus himself, or I could banish this guy because I kind of don't need this anymore, and this is on 2k and he's on 2/5, and then I can summon myself a Mirror Jade. So this ends on Albion. You could even use Mirror Jade to kind of send something from the extra deck to the graveyard, but we already drew Banishment, so we don't need to set this with an Albion. This is 1 pop, 1 non-targeting banish, and if this is sent to the graveyard, we get a Surge. And this is just an OTK machine because this is on 5200 and it can attack twice. And our opponent cannot use any card effects during the battle phase. And if this has destroyed the first monster by battle, it's on 7800. So most of the time, if you swing twice with this into something, it's just game. And those can help to make game even easier. Then the next test hand, no cuts, so you see there's these are 2 consecutive test hands. Shuffle those back into my ED. Ah, whoops. Okay, if this one shuffle, another shuffle. If you want, you could change the Book of Moon to some hand trap as well. I don't own 3 Ash, but if I would own it, I might change the Book of Moon to an Ash Blossom. Then cut in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, I'm testing with 5 cards as well. If we go second like the last hand, and we would have a 6th card in hand, then it would be way better as well. This hand is kind of not good. We can normal summon Armored Catapult Turtle, then tribute this, pray that our opponent doesn't Ash us. We can special summon Magical Knight Gaia, Gaia F, special summon Dragon Curse, the Cursed Dragon. Then we can add ourselves a... Just checking that I'm not telling any lies. You can add 1 spell trap. Yep, I'm gonna add myself the Galloping Gaia, because we already have the Spiral Fusion. Activate Galloping Gaia, reveal this. It's just nice to have a Magical Knight Gaia for the next turn. Even though we are probably gonna normal summon the Fallen of Albaz, we could still use this as material from our hand for a fusion summon or something. Then I'm gonna do Spiral Fusion, use those 2 to make myself the Curse of Dragon, the Magical Knight Dragon, add back Spiral Fusion again, then we can Spiral Fusion, we can technically summon an Albion right now, if we wanted to, and then with Albion make a Mirror Jade as well. This is just kind of what this deck enables, because this is just a fusion spell for any Dragon Fusion monster. So we have some different lines right here. I could either be kind of boring and just use Spiral Fusion to make another of the Gaia fusions, which is like 1 pop on our opponent's turn. If we go second, maybe make this. But we could as well just use Spiral Fusion now, and then fusion summon Fallen of Albaz, and this is a dark as well. I could use those 2 and make myself a Lubellion, then Lubellion discard the level 5 dragon monster. I don't really need it because I can just special summon it with this as well next turn. Or I could summon an Albion. Albion needing to banish itself is always kind of yucky, and I'm playing only one of this fusion, so this way I can shuffle this back with Albion as well as the Albaz to get myself a Mirror Jade. And if I fancy it, I could even use Mirror Jade and then banish this to send myself an Albion, and then set myself a banishment in the end phase, which would kind of be useless because I don't have a level 8 fusion in graveyard, but if I fancy it, I could do that. And for the next turn, I have a Magical Knight Gaia, which I could reveal to get another search. Then normal summon this if my opponent controls anything. I got the Mirror Jade pop in the end phase. If this gets removed, I got the Mirror Jade non-targeting banishing. I got the interruption on my opponent's turn. If I send a Titanic Lad, I got the search with Albion. If I send that, yeah, this is just a fun deck. And one last test hand, so that you have 3 consecutive test hands. I'm gonna draw 6 cards now because I did 2 test hands with 5 cards, and let's assume I'm going second now. I mean, I kind of assumed I'm going second before as well, but I feel like playing with 5 cards in your hand is always a nice way of counting in maybe one card that would get ashed or one card that would get hand trapped in any other way. Okay, I'm gonna give this one more shuffle. Cards in half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let's see how good the last test hand is. This is... let's see how good this is. I'm gonna use terraforming. Then I will get myself a portal to chaos, activate portal to chaos. I can get myself a Gaia. Because we don't have a level 5 dragon monster in our hand, it really isn't worth normal summoning this, but Armored Catapult Turtle can get us a level 5 dragon monster as well. Catapult Turtle F, tribute itself, get myself a Dragon Curse. I'm just noticing that I'm testing with 5 cards in my hand as well, so the hand might have been better if I went second. Then Dragon Curse F, we already have the Spiral Fusion, so we could, for example, if we fancy, get ourselves a Spiral Reborn. This way we can just summon back the Gaia Fusion monster, and because our opponent cannot target or destroy it with card effects, we get 1 pop at least with this, which is always nice. Just one free pop and 1 free material on board. Then I'll Spiral Fusion, and I'll make myself a Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons again. Then Dragon Curse, the Curse Dragon F, to negate all my opponent's monsters that are that have 5,200 or less attack, so probably negate the whole board. I could Book of Moon something as well to break their board. I could Imperm as well before doing the whole combo, so I can out 2 negates, and with Spiral Fusion I can increase his attack to maybe do an OTK. So this is probably at least through 2 negates, because I can bait 2 negates with this, and this would probably be an OTK depending on what my opponent has on board, but 5,200 and then 7,800 is pretty much attack, and most of the time this is going to be an OTK. And if not, I can set this, and either if my opponent doesn't get rid of this, special summon him back, or in case my opponent can get rid of him, special summon him back, and then he cannot be targeted or destroyed. And as I said, Book of Moon and Imperm to break boards. This is kind of why I like this. You could run something like Raigeki too. Yeah, Raigeki kind of I don't like it that much as well, because it just feels so nice if you can normal summon an Albaz with a branded Lost on field, and then your opponent can't do anything, and you can just fusion summon off with one of the boss monsters into a Mirror Jade, and yeah, Raigeki would take that. But if you have Raigekis, you can run them as well. Yeah, these have been pretty decent 3 test hands, and they have all been with 5 cards. So they might have been even better if we would have played with 6 cards. I'm glad that you watched this video, and I'm glad that I could make this deck. Gaia was one of my first decks that I built just from the cards I pulled. And I'm happy that it has gotten this much better with the branded cards. And I'm happy for the small synergy between some of the Gaia and branded cards as well. The level 7 support and the level 8 support with the branded is kind of yucky, but you don't really matter because you still have the Gaia support that's really good for Gaias. You have the level 8 support that's good for branded. And all in all, this is a really fun deck. And if you want to play Gaia, I can only recommend playing it this way. If you have Ecclesias, not the Dogmatica Ecclesias, the Albaz Ecclesias, you can run them in this as well. This deck kind of lacks a light target to send from the deck with Branded Fusion. So you have to send your Gaia with this. I thought about maybe playing a light kaiju, but really, if you have Ecclesia, play this. But I'm not going to spend 90 euros just on 3 Ecclesias for this one deck. But yeah, if you have Ecclesias, play them with this. On that note, I'm going to say thank you again for everybody who sticked until the end of the video. And see you in the next one. Bye.